This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit and talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
You got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans. That's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd, and here with me I have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just been playing a lot of NCAA football 14 the past day or so. Trying to take extremely small teams, such as like community college level, and play on Heisman mode and beat teams on the road. And that's not going very well. I'm trying to acclimate myself to the learning curve of Heisman. I feel like I'm doing all right. So like usually I play on just like pro, like whenever, because I'm like, man, who I'm trying to impress. But like, if I figure that if I'm going to do this serious like YouTube series, I feel like people will clown you if you don't play on Heisman. I'm like, why it needs to be this difficult, I don't know. But I've been figuring out the differences between the modes and when you need to release passes and shit like that. So I'm getting acclimated. I did try to do my tiny Springfield, Massachusetts Community College, American International College, which is, I didn't even know had a football team in real life. I don't know if they do or not, but someone created it in Team Builder. So I took them on the road into Austin, Texas, and I tried to beat the Texas Longhorns. It did not go well for me.
Was it just because like y'all didn't have the depth, or was it just that like how far along are you in this thing?
Oh, so I was just playing exhibition, just feeling out AIC to see what the limitations are, what I can do before I actually start Dynasty mode in the YouTube series and all that. So I believe they're outmanned skill wise. They're at a coaching deficiency, a user deficiency at the moment. And, it's just going to be a grind all the way from the bottom if I choose to take this journey. So,
it's going to be crazy when you get added to like a Power 5 conference in like 5 years. So it's going to be amazing how that works. Like, where's the money to actually do this? There's none. It's just a video game? Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
It's always funny, like, the Dynasty Mode stuff, because, like, we think that kind of stuff could happen, and like, yes, that is more likely to happen as far as like the Dynasty Mode stuff, and then a new like, what would you call it? A nouveau reach program, like reaches the pinnacle of college or whatever. No, that's not really a thing. That doesn't really happen. Like,
from what I'm gathering on the YouTube series that I've checked out, it's usually like somewhere between the 5th and like 7th year, like you break through with like the amount of recruits, and winning and being able to beat people and actually get to a conference.
But I just meant as far as like that could happen.
Oh, like, but in real life,
that happened in the 90s, right? Like that happened in the 90s in like the 80s and the 90s and 70s. But like now, like the idea of Clemson becoming this good is like a shock. And like Clemson had won a national championship in the 80s, and we're still like, I can't believe they're this good. So, it's just interesting to think about as far as like the video game things. Like, yeah, there's some real fantasy. Like that ain't never happened.
Right.
But anyway, I guess we start off with the best wrestling show that happened this weekend, Stardom. Rich, you want to do the honors?
James, hit the music.
Yeah, Stardom, Tokyo Dream, Cinderella. I would say great. I would say great. It's on the borderline between very good or a kick-ass show and great. The main event, if you just watch the main event, you'd be like, this is an incredible show. Or actually the last two matches, but in general, like, card through and through, all of them were above average matches. I would say all but maybe the first match wasn't very good. I guess we just start off from the top and we can move around from there. The main event that we've been waiting for a while, the red belt match between Utami and Syuri. Man, what a fucking match. Rich, what are your thoughts?
Man, so before I get into that, I'll start with Big U. So Utami, this is her third year in wrestling, from what I'm gathering, correct?
She debuted August 2019.
Okay, so it's more along the lines.
Her third anniversary is in August. Her third anniversary is in August.
Okay, so Utami Hayashishita should be the blueprint for what any promoter that tries to pick someone early hopes to get out of them. She's phenomenal. Syuri, of course, like my favorite wrestler in Stardom at this point, and she was incredible in this. And like, I saw this, and I'm like, well, I didn't think the red belt might ever be in her cards, but I saw this match, and I'm like, maybe one day she can win the red belt.
This was. Go continue your point. I'll go back to what you just said. But continue your point. Sorry.
I think, obviously, this is a phenomenal match. I think it's going to pick up a lot of buzz and introduce a lot more people to Stardom, even more than some of the stuff that happened earlier this year. I was crushed by the draws. I thought they had a match of the year on the table and walked away from it.
Yep.
If it was one draw, and I would say, like, if they did what was in the quote unquote second fall all in one without to a time limit draw, I think you can still argue, like, hey, that's a match of the year, 5 stars. But then, like, the second restart just, I think, zaps you so much, and it's like, oh man, like your first one, because draws can work, but that second one is like where it feels like you're getting kicked in the dick, and then you see Natsuko Tora and you're watching the Japanese commentary and you don't know what the fuck's happening, because like the last time they stopped and then they started wrestling again, and then it's like, why is Natsuko here? Is she about to like cash in Money in the Bank or some shit? Like, I was like, huh, like, and I was like completely like had that bizarre confused feeling after the match, but like I really liked it. I thought people were bugging at first. I thought, this was just people like through the first fall. Mm-hmm. I was like, man, it didn't seem like, like this match of the year type thing. Like, mm-hmm. I know people get a little overzealous sometimes.
Yeah, but, especially in the Joshi corners. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just kind of sat there and kept watching for whatever reason. I was literally about to get up and turn it off and go to the other match or whatever. And then they like, the bell rang and then they started going at it again. And I was like, hell yeah. And then like, I'm starting fist pumping and I was standing in front of the TV. I watched this. I plugged this up in the living room. So I was, in front of the TV on my feet watching it. And then
Rich, you broke up. Can you say it again? You said you were standing on your feet and then what happened?
Yeah, and then they kind of settle back into the wrestling. So I go sit back down, and you know, and they're you know, just beating the fuck out of each other, and then the Rocky 2 ending happens with, you know, except Rocky doesn't stand up, like, and I was like, no, you can't be fucking serious, like, and I was full John McEnroe at that point.
Yeah, so the reason why
you watch it live,
yes. Now, watching it, I was like, this match is great. And then, like, I like, you watch enough Stardom, you know when, like, the last 5-minute calls are coming in. So, like, obviously, their title matches are 30-minute time limits. So, I'm watching it, I actually watched it with the the English commentary, which actually, like, they had a good commentary team. Like, Sonny was doing the play-by-play, and he did a really good job. I think both of them...
Sonny Ono?
No. Sonny runs the Stardom English account and does the subtitles.
Okay.
Yeah,
I clarify.
Okay.
Clarify.
He right, Sonny Gutierrez. So he was on play-by-play. I forgot the guy's name that was doing I'm sorry, he was on color, and the person on play-by-play, I can't remember his name, but I think this person also does the English for Noah. So anyway, they're really good. I think they're, especially for someone that is a first time viewer, someone that is not that familiar with Stardom. If you're someone like me that, like, knows almost as much as they do, or knows as much as anyone that's not working with a company like Sonny, like, after like the first few, like, matches, you're kind of like, okay, like, are you gonna call it a match, or are you gonna get exposition dump me? But, like, for someone that's starting out, they're very, very helpful, right? And then, but anyway, so. And also really helpful because, like, Sonny is giving a live translation as everyone's cutting promos during the match or whatever else. So it was very helpful. So, like, in the future, regardless of if that may annoy me in the future or not, or more likely you're going to get better at times. That was Sonny's first time ever doing commentary. Like, the English announcing thing they're going to get new fans based off that alone. Just off that alone. Like, the quality of the shows are going to be the quality of the show. They're always going to be top-notch shows, but them having, people always want to act like you can't figure out what the fuck they're saying or get the general gist because you don't speak the same language, if, like, body language and context clues don't work. But anyway, so, I'm watching it, and we'll break down the match in a second, but, like, I'm watching it, but I know that, like, and they go into those last 5 minutes, I know this is the realm of possibility for him to go to a draw because Stardom in the last year, had just started, like, giving you draws, like, at least one, like, seemingly like a draw on every show. Like, they'll give you a match that you're interested in that's, like, either the main event or normally it's like the third or fourth match on the 5-match card, and you're like, oh, that's going to a draw. You look at 2 people, like, on Indies tags, you're like, there's nobody in this match as a pin eater. This is going to a, like, 15-minute draw. So, but anyway, like, I knew this was in the realm of possibility because Momo and Momo and Kagetsu in 2018, when Momo was a white belt champion and Getsu was a red belt champion, they had the same finish to get out of their double title match. They had a double knockout. So, obviously they didn't have the restart the match and then double knockout, but, like, Rossi has done this before, so I'm like, but when it happened to me, I was like, I can't believe, because it went to a draw. I was like, okay, fine, whatever, they'll do the match again. Then they restart the match, and I'm like, okay, we're getting a finish. And then it started so fucking hot. Like, it went to it was a great match in the first 30 minutes alone. Like, that the build, the wrestling at the beginning, the escalation, the selling, all of that was an incredible match. Like, that's a 4. That's
I like this better than Shingo and Okada still, but
I have no arguments. I don't. It's
but, like, the finish is like, it's like unforgivable.
The last, like the last 20 minutes of that 30 minutes in that 30-minute time limit were awesome. Like, but anyway, like, they restart the match, and then it's like, it's Hagler Hearns, Fried Takayama, and then kicks start coming out, another round of slaps start coming out, head drops, you thought they already had emptied the gun, and the next thing you know, they pull out 2 fucking bazookas, and they start fighting each other. So, like, they went another 13 minutes, they both dropped after, I think it was a clothesline, and then a head kick, and they dropped, and, like, on English commentary, Rich, you didn't pick this up, but, like, they were selling the match on Syuri, because, you know, Shuri's mom passed during the Grand Prix last year. She dedicated this match to her mom. So after they both fought, after the double 10 count, she starts bawling, crying, and then, like, she basically curls up in fetal position, hanging on the bottom turnbuckle in the corner, just sobbing her fucking heart out because she dedicated this to her mom, she couldn't survive it. And I'm just like, I wanted Syuri to win, obviously. No knock against Utami. Utami's incredible, but, like, they've been building Syuri up so well since she came to Stardom in, was it like the 9th anniversary show? That's like, put it on her. Like, she's the second best wrestler in the company. So, like, fine by me, or work her. So, like, after that happened, I was just like gutted, and I was just like, you bastards. Now you know that you have me like a fucking yo-yo, because next time you do this match, I'm gonna drop the $50 fucking bucks, hoping and wishing that she wins this fucking match. I hated that finish, but you still got me, because the next time they do Utami versus Syuri, I'm the first motherfucker signing up for a pay-per-view buy. Like, I hate how they got me. Like, in a vacuum, I'm a person
the
that
old work is
like,
the new work,
right? And generally in a vacuum, I'm a person that believes that, like, draws, double countouts, all of that shit, like, not beating somebody sucks. Like, as a general principle, you have to have something really damn nifty to get me to feel like you beat somebody, or you didn't beat somebody in a match, and, like, I want to see it again or whatever else. Like, I'm willing to deal with a short match on a small show to build towards a bigger match. I'm not generally cool with on the main event of a fucking pay-per-view, you do this kind of shit. Like, also, to build towards doing another show that's equal size.
That's gonna, like, so, you know how, like, they say what happens in, like, the UK is gonna come to America after? Like, oh, this is coming to America. Like, this is going to happen.
Do you think so? Because, like, I mean,
I think it's gonna happen in AEW at some point.
Big gigantic draws before. Like, I mean, Omega Okada 2 is a draw match or whatever else. And, like, it's hard to do that in America, because we don't do really. I mean, AEW does time limits, but, like, NXT doesn't do time limits. WWE doesn't do time limits. Like, Ring of Honor, I do not believe does do time limits. Like, I'm not really that concerned about it. Like, maybe in AEW with, like, the TNT title, where it's like, oh, TV time remaining, that sort of thing, to get out of it.
I think
maybe you're onto something. I'm thinking, like, they won't do it, but then again, you'll probably prove me to be right.
I think it will come for, like, it'll be some babyface down the line. It could even be, like, by the time Kenny goes bad babyface, and everyone wants to see him win as a good guy. Like, I could fully see something happening like that.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, are you talking about, like, are you talking about just the draw, or the draw then the restart? I'm talking about, like the note. There is no winner here. Like, to close a big show. Okay, well, in the main event, they didn't do it, but, like, they did do a draw with Darby and Cody one time. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a main event, but so, like, that is a gigantic difference. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you may have a point. You have a point. You have a point. It could happen.
But by all means, like, I would obviously tell everyone to check this match out. I'm probably going to write about it by the end of the year or something. Like it's definitely going to go on the list. Like, it was trending to be my match of the year. Like, and they just kind of said, nah, we don't need that from you. But it's really close.
Yeah. So just real quick about the match. Like, match starts out, like, the first 7 minutes is, like, just awesome ground and mat wrestling, and Syuri just out wrestles her, and Utami, like, even tries to get up to try to actually start running ropes, and then, like, Syuri basically brings her back. It's like, nah, you're judoka, let's roll. Let's see how bad you really are. They go about 2 more minutes, and then next thing you know, after Syuri has surely realized that she is surely demonstrated she's the better mat technician, she gets up and they start trading forearms back and forth for like a minute, and then they just basically start opening up, and Syuri basically has his match in control until they end up on the outside, and there's so much. I'm not even gonna get through it, but like the match is amazing. In the restart, it got to a point where Syuri ends up hurting her leg, gets her leg worked over, hurts her back during the match. Syuri keeps going for arm bars on Utami, starts targeting the neck and head with head drops and stuff. Like she Johnny Gargano lawn darted Utami in the restart into the corner pad, hit like a sit out power slam, a sit out package power slam. Like, they dropped Utami was on her neck and head at one point in the restart. Slaps galore, fists galore. Utami's letting off kicks as it's tearing up Utami's chest, back, and stomach. The match is incredible. It's just an incredible match. Like, as far as pure work, the only women's match I've seen in the last, like, 5 years, or since we started doing One Nation Radio, that's on its level is Nanai and Arisa, Nakajima from that hair versus hair match 2 years ago. That's the only other one. Like, I would say, actually I take that back. I would say parts of actually not parts, Mayu and Takumi from last year, the second one, but that's like a 19-22 minute match. They went 43 minutes doing this shit.
Yeah, that's
like this was, and
that's
that was
the rare
like this
part.
award.
I hope they don't get into that trend. Like, let New Japan keep that shit. Like,
oh no,
45 minutes.
They don't. I think I don't think they're doing this again. I think it was. We only have 6 matches on this card, so we going to ask them to go over the time limit to basically fill in and be a seventh match. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think they're doing this again. Like, I think next cards will be 7 matches, and the main event will be in like 20, done in 22 minutes. Well, actually, probably shorter because you ain't going no damn 20 plus minutes with Natsuko Tora. Fuck out of here. But just an incredible main event. Just incredible work. Just incredible brutality. Incredible thought. Incredible selling. Like Utami, by the end of this match, because of the slaps, ends up having fucking looking like Inoki, with a jaw and chin that's just like 3 times bigger than it was when the time she came into the ring. Like, just an incredible match. And then the fact that like it was the way it was paced like a New Japan main event, like an Okada main event. And I don't mean that pejoratively. I mean that in like the ones that we love. It was just an amazing match.
I felt like it had a lot more to offer in the front end than one of those two.
Yes. Because like the mat wrestling was controlled and concerted, as opposed to, it feels like at sometimes, Okada is just like wrestling in third gear. This was not wrestling in third gear at any point. Like, this was wrestling from fourth gear to the beginning. Like, even when they started the match, they started out with this super hard lockup, and they end up out the ring, and then rolling out the ring onto each other, and then get back in, and then like start mat wrestling. Like, it was actually, how we talk about like that old Page lockup, when they lock up and end up like tumbling out of the ring, and it was always bad. Like, they did it right. So just an incredible match. Any of y'all that watch wrestling, check it out. Go out your way to try to find it. It's absolutely one of the 5 best matches I've seen this year, as far as just the work. Like, the decision to not have a finish, like, definitely hurt it. But like, I think I've given 6 or 7 matches 5 stars or 4 3/4. This was an immediate, like, it was immediate, like, if not for this finish, this has been a 5-star. This is my 3rd 5-star match of the year, if not for this result. If they had a clean winner, this would have been a 5-star match. Semi-main event. Semi-main event was the finals for the Cinderella tournament between Utami, not Utami, I'm sorry,
Micah
in Stall Saya Kamatani. Both of them end up winning their matches in the first two matches of this show. Micah got rid of Unagi after Unagi targeted her bad leg that she's had bandaged up for like a month or so, or maybe 3 weeks, whatever. And then Tall Saya ended up beating Himeka in a very good match. I ended up giving that one 3.5. And that match is based around Himeka working over her back like she normally does, because, you know, she used the back breakers and all that kind of stuff. So they both went in there with hurt body parts. So, and they basically worked over each other's bad spots, and then they go about, I want to say like 10 minutes, and then there's a top rope Ishii delayed superplex into the ring, and then they basically just go at it from there, and then like lariat starts sounding off, spinning heel kicks start coming off, and ultimately at the end, Tall Saya ends up hitting a bro kick, hits her Star Crusher finish, which is basically like a fisherman Falcon Arrow, and then goes to the top and hits her Phoenix Splash and gets the win. I don't know how much of these matches you see, or are you seeing it?
This one crashed. Like, I don't even know if it was halfway through, so I was trying to watch it, and my feed just kept crashing. But happy for Saya Kamatani. Hate to see Micah lose, because I love Micah. But I saw the dress that they gave her. That was not a good looking dress that they gave her. It's like gray, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's green.
Okay, they need to go ahead and spend a little bit more, or give it a different color or something. You know,
none of the. I'll put it to you like this. So I think I've seen. Cause you know Mayu won the first two Cinderellas, so I saw one of Mayu's dresses. I saw Momo's dress. I saw Arissa's dress. I saw Julia's dress. Julia's the only one that had a good dress. That looked like it fit her. That looked like it looked nice, and it fit the person right. Like, that's the only one, I think.
Damn, they out here doing it like it's a shoot. Like, you ain't gonna find out until the day of, and here is the dress. Whoever wins it got to fit into it. You know. Well,
the funniest part about people making this joke about the only person that could have fit this dress would have been people joke as if like there's only one dress back there, right? So it's like, so of course they know that it's going to be who it is. I'm thinking to myself like, nah, bro, this could be it could have been any of the four, like all of them, because Tall Saya, Micah, Himeka, and Unagi are all like in that 5'7" to 5'5" range. They're all quote unquote giants for Joshi. So like, I don't know how that would have worked as far as that, but like, nah, it looked like a prom dress. A cheaper prom dress, but like a prom dress nonetheless. And like,
come on, Rossi. Rossi ain't in charge no more. All right, Bushiroad, go ahead, open up the yen.
Think of it like this: if this wasn't this show in a normal Cinderella scenario, right? You've wrestled in 4 matches. Round of 16, round of 8, round of 4, round of 2. Yeah, you wrestle 4 matches, and then you got to go to the back and throw it on all sweaty and probably musky, and then come back up and try to do something with your hair and hold it up, and then come back out to take pictures. Like, I don't know how good it's gonna look either way. Like, I was surprised when she came back out afterwards and her hair was done different. It was like, wait a second, maybe that's the reason why they did go 43 minutes. Like, give her more time to get ready. But either way, she wins. She calls down Tam. Tam doesn't get in the ring. Tam is sitting there looking like just a proud mom. She looks so happy for Kamatani. And they let off the streamers and the silver small streamers in the ring or whatever else, and they actually have a glass plaque now for the Cinderella winner. I guess it's going to go year to year. It's like a glass plaque that says Cinderella tournament winner, and then it has a Cinderella slipper on the top or whatever else. Yeah, so happy for her. What
she gonna do with it?
Like,
what you gonna do with it?
Okay, so I don't think she's the most improved wrestler in Stardom. Oh no, she's challenging Tam. It's already been established. She's challenging Tam. Yeah. Like, she don't want no more. Look, after that match, you want some of Utami? Because I wouldn't. Nah, you got that. That's a whole nother level from what I'm trying to do.
Utami already done put a pause on her
exactly
this year.
Exactly, and that was a whole nother level from that. Like that was I'll be nice and let you get in all your spots. It's about you trying to get over to elevate. Now go. Yeah. Like, imagine if it was a shoot.
So have you prepared for the possibility? Have you prepared for the possibility that Tam coming off this bitch?
No, not at all. Like, the way they've set this up in a rivalry is that I think it's 1 or 2-1 Kamatani in their career series. Like, one of Kamatani's first Cork and Halls, Tam beat the brakes off of her. And then the Grand Prix last year, Tam beat the hell out of her. Technical Tam just wore her out with just working over her legs, and then at the end she snuck out the back door with a small package victory. That was actually a really good match. That was like Saya's first very good match. I ended up giving that 3 3/4 at a time, I believe. So then in the tournament this year, in the first round, Kamatani snuck her by basically Tam got her over the top rope on the apron, and then Tam comes charging in, and she hits she basically like does like a springboard Hurricane Rana, and then basically like drags her over the top to the ground. So like the career series is 2-1 Tam. Like, Kamatani's not like I would say I don't think she's actually the most improved wrestler in Stardom, but if you were to look at the fact that like she's figured out how to wrestle spot to spot to spot and make it look like she can do all that stuff. Like, but you need someone in the ring that does all the technical stuff for her, around her, and she can have a great match at this point. Like a Micah or the other night, like Tam has done, like Utami has done, like B. Priestley has done. So, I think she's going to get like most improved wrestler votes in the Observer. I think she is. But it's just she's still not on that level as far as in-the-ring work for the top of, or the semi-main event, main event status for Stardom. I think it's going to come. I think it's coming around faster than I thought it was going to be. When because 6 months ago she's still botching around. Now she's pretty consistent. She's dependable now, beyond just tags. So, I think what probably will happen is she loses to Tam, and then she gets another match somewhere down the line against Tam, and then wins. Like, I think she's a clear candidate to win the white belt eventually, like in the next 2 years, next 18 months, maybe even the next year or so. Definitely.
Yeah, I feel like I see it coming with her. So
yeah, she's putting it all together in a way that like it didn't. I seriously think that Utami match at Budokan Hall like changed her confidence level. It gave her a whole boost. Like, I can really do this. Like, instead of going into practice and do all them bumps and all them drills when she's next to like Azumi and Momo, and then like, damn, they're still way better than me. Like, am I ever going to be to that level? Like, it don't matter. Like, just have good matches. Just have great matches. And I think that helped her. Feels like she belongs. So next match below that was the elimination match. Oedo Tai versus Stars, 5v5. The last person eliminated has to join the other team's faction. Rich, did you hear or see or know of the result?
I did not.
Okay. It comes down to...
Holy shit. I know I'm not seeing what I'm seeing.
Yeah, you are. It's a very good match. I gave it 5.5. I liked it more than the Oedo Tai vs. Stars match from last year. Or not last year, but last pay-per-view from April 4th. Comes down to Starlight Kid and Natsuko. Starlight Kid, I believe, has the pin on Natsuko. 1, 2 from the ref. They pull the ref, of course. Then they tie up Mayu in a corner with a rope. The other baby faces that are eliminated don't get involved, even though everybody else is eliminated as well. I don't know, whatever. And then they beat the hell out of Starlight Kid. Natsuko hits her top rope splash finish. Starlight Kid kicks it like 2.9. Natsuko gets her up, hits her with a DVD. She and then looks at Mayu, gets her back up without going for the pin, and hits her with a second one in a row. Sits on top of her and stares at Mayu and pins her. And Mayu is fighting like crazy to try to get out of the rope in the corner. The rest of Stars finally lets her out. Starlight Kid starts crying and whimpering. Mayu starts crying and whimpering. Now I'm watching it with the English commentary, and Natsuko basically says Starlight Kid, because the whole thing is, Natsuko's like, I will not stop coming after Stars until either Mayu or Starlight Kid are in Oedo Tai. So she finally gets what she wants.
Hilarious. It's like, I will not stop till Dusty Rhodes living in the streets.
Basically. So Natsuko says to Starlight Kid, while she's basically like over the top of her, says, you are going to be treated horribly. She said you are at the bottom of Oedo Tai. You are lower than Rauka. Now Rauka is a 16-year-old that can barely move, but it's like, wait, so why would you want them on your team if you're going to treat So Starlight Kid is now Starlight Slave.
Unbelievable.
Yes. No SLK. It's SLS. Mayu is just crying. She gets on the mic. She says, "Just keep your spirits up. Don't give up. And I promise." She says,
sound like she going to jail.
Listen, she says, "Keep your spirits up." And she says, "I promise I'll win you back." And they're both crying as hell, bro. This was really emotional. This was super emotional. I wanted to cry.
I'll win you back.
I went like a slave.
Oh my god.
Like a slave. Bro, I wanted to cry. I did not cry, but I wanted to cry.
Like she has to go work for the $1 Million Man.
Bro, it was bad. Look, check this out. When after it happens, Natsuko lifts Starlight Kid up and then puts her on her back in like fireman's carry position and walks over her as if she basically like shot a game deer and put on her back like she won some game. She's hunted down her prey and she's carrying it to the truck. She just carried her on her back and took her up the ramp. I was like, oh my god.
The evil Starlight Kid en route, all black.
That shit was sad.
Saki, look, Saki Kashima and Natsuko Tora are passing Starlight Kid the blunt. Like, hit this. Starlight Kid looking like Randy from The Wire. Like,
so check this out. I looked at the schedule because they updated the schedule for putting out the cards going into the next pay-per-view on 4th of July. So when I looked, in the main event, it was Starlight Kid in the main event with Oedo Tai. They're saving the best. I was like, come to the show to see what Starlight Kid is going to dress and look like going forward. So,
so you telling me after the show, Mayu got in her car and she started punching the wheel like Carver? It's a damn shame what happened to that good kid.
Oh my fucking god. Maybe so. I don't know, man. But this shit was like as if like I'm trying to think of the right villain, the proper villain, because Natsuko sucks. So like this be like if the Riddler like won Robin from Batman, and Batman's like, don't give up, or no, the Scarecrow, don't give up to the toxic and the evil and the poison. Just keep your mind strong, and I will get you. Just hold on, I will get you. That shit was sad, bro. That shit was super sad.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So yeah, the main event for the next show. So they don't have any shows till Saturday. The next show is Stars. So the remaining people in Stars is Kagama, Hanan, and Mayu versus Roka, Natsuko, and Starlight Kid. So she's gonna unveil whatever the fuck she looks like in front of Mayu, and Mayu gonna have to deal with it. Damn.
They gonna bring her out second too.
Oh man. Yeah, of course. They're gonna bring out Oedo Tai last for that one. Yeah. So, but yeah, I would check it out. It is a good match, and like, like at this point, I have the count or whatever else, but like Oedo Tai is like deeper than the Wu-Tang at this point, bro. Like Oedo Tai is basically like the holdovers
what
from
they're trying to do.
Like the holdovers from when Kagetsu and Hazuki left, plus like almost all of TCS minus Jungle is in Oedo Tai. Like,
they ain't got no leaders, so they doing what like you remember when the game left G Unit. And then 50 Cent started signing all the supplementary acts and be like, yo, y'all getting deeper, but it ain't necessarily getting better or anything. That's what they on tie.
Like, they needed someone as good as Starlight Kid, but at the expense of, like, Stars is like, okay, so you got Cosmic Angels and Stars as two babyface factions. You got Oedo Tai as a flat-out heel faction, and Queen's Quest and Donald Mondo are just tweeners. So it's like...
Boy, I'd love to get Azumi's thoughts on this.
No, here, check this out, right? So,
I treat Azumi like she's Brett.
Oh my god. So, in the last, like, 2 weeks, right, or so, Starlight Kid had earned another high-speed title shot against Natsupoi. What is Natsupoi on this? She's like, wait, like, okay, so I was gonna give you a title shot when you was a good person. Now you evil and you got goons around you. Maybe I'm thinking of not giving you this title shot. I'm about to get jobbed out here. No, thank you. But yeah, like, I'm trying to, okay, so Natsu Sumire, who's been out since October with a shoulder injury, Saki, Konami, Hina, a Hanan twin, Roka, Starlight Kid. Like, we got a lot of people in Oedo Tai. I feel like I'm forgetting people still, but yeah, man, we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this goes going forward. Like, they have to reunite. I don't know when and where, but they have to reunite. I would say don't do it too soon. Got to get some money out of this for what it's worth. But yeah, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
how long will you
drag
roll
it
with
out
this?
until the last show of the year? I would get her back the last show of the year.
Okay, that's not bad because considering like the Grand Prix,
she can go through tournaments.
Yep, because the Grand Prix, the dates for the Grand Prix for the opening and closing came out in the middle of the show. So they're doing night 1 and night 2 at Yokohama Budokan. So that's where they've done like that October pay-per-view. That's where they did the pay-per-view last month or 2 months ago at. So that's night 1 and night 2, and then the final night is going to be at Oda City, right where they had this pay-per-view at. So it's July 31st and October 1st, and then the last night is I think it's September 25th. So yeah, like, they're getting to it real soon, so like, you know, tournament's gonna be around. She may as well stay healed. There's no real need to get her out of there until like maybe at the earliest October. But you're right, it's probably for the year end. They probably should save it for the year end. Next match after that is, as Rich affectionately called it, the Battle Bowl. The 3-way tag team shuffle match. All three, so the teams come down as such. Queen's Quest comes down, Momo and Azumi. Donado Mondo comes down, Julia and Natsupoi, and they come down to the ring with their arms interlocked. Then out comes Cosmic Angels, Tam and Mina. So what they did is they did this magic trick ass pulling straws deal where the tip of the 6 straws, for the red corner, there's 2 reds. For the blue corner, there's 2 blues. And for the white neutral corners, there's 2 whites. So, Julia pulls first, she pulls a red. Mina pulls, Natsupoi pulls second, she pulls a white. Mina pulls third, she pulls a blue. So then the remaining 3, Tam, Momo, and Azumi, basically all pull at the same time out the bag. So 1, 2, 3, and they all lift up in the sky. Now, Julia has that red. When I saw Tam lift up and she had that red in her hand, I literally like that J-Lo meme. I literally folded my arms and leaned back and was like, "You motherfuckers! I can't believe you did this bullshit." So.
I told you that was gonna happen. Shit.
I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was a possibility to happen. It still don't mean I didn't want it to happen. So they pull that.
They slapping each other and shit before the match.
Yeah, but on commentary they explain it. But so what happens is when Tam pulls the red, Azumi pulls the white. She's tagging with Natsupoi, and Momo pulls the blue. She's tagging with Mina. Now keep in mind, Mina and Momo had a match at the last pay-per-view on the undercard where Momo won.
Mina trying to get Momo to embrace the sexuality.
Yeah.
That shit was hilarious.
We'll get to that too in a second. So, Azumi lost her high-speed belt at the Budokan show to Natsupoi. And then Tam and Julia... What else do I have? They got a history that goes back as far as, I don't know, the Crips and the Bloods. So, you're trying to figure out, okay, so why these 3 have history, we got, all different types of levels of beef with each other. Why would they team up with their partner? So they say on commentary, pointing out after the fact that, or they actually showed in the announcer shows it, there is a cash prize in an envelope for whoever the winner is. So Tam and Julia look at each other and they basically say to each other, they basically slap each other to hype each other up to say, "Let's go get it. Let's go get this money." So they slap each other. So the second that
think about a check,
right? So the second that Mama pulls out that blue and she's over there with Mina, Mina's like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" Trying to get on this shit I'm on with the sex appeal. And then Mama's like,
I don't really,
I'm not really here for that. I'm here to kick motherfuckers' domes off. I'm not really here, to visually please. So eventually, the match starts. It's Tam and it's Mina and it's Natsupoi, and last pay-per-view was Tam and Natsupoi in that great white belt match. They're about to, all 3 of them about to lock up. Mina then just hits her pose in the middle of the ring, her sexy pose. And then, Tam and Natsupoi look at each other and they're like, "Yeah, fuck that shit. We still hate each other to death. Let's lock up." So then from there, there's a bunch of just run-ins and just funny hilarity ensues at points or whatever else. There's a point where, at the very beginning of that match, on the apron, Mina is convincing Momo, getting the crowd to chant so that the chants will encourage Momo to do the pose. Yes. So she hears it and she's making this face like, "No, don't ask me to do this shit. I don't want to do this. No." So then she basically shrugs as the crowd keeps clapping. She's like, "Fuck it, I'll do it." She goes to go do it, and behind her you see Tam and Natsupoi are bouncing Mina off the ropes to go throw, and she goes to the ropes and knocks Momo off, and Momo goes flying off the apron to the ground. I'm like, God damn it! There's a bunch of funny stuff.
Ain't meant to be. Meant to be.
There's a spot where they end up getting Momo out the ring, and there is a Donald Armando spot where the wrestlers lay out somebody in the corner, and then Natsupoi goes to the opposite corner, and then the other 2, 3, however many people are in the match, basically act as steps for her to jump off and hit a double foot stomp onto the downed opponent. So she hits one, and then she ends up laying out Natsupoi herself. She goes to the corner and she botches on purpose trying to go up the steps and falls. And then basically it's the other 8 members in the match besides her. I'm not 8. The other 4 members in the match besides her Momo, who's out the ring, and they are like, you really tried to like climb up our back and you fucked it up. They stomped the dog shit out of her. They gave her the beats from 8 feet. It was just it was a really super fun match. But at the end, Azumi ends up rolling up. They actually did a double Tower of Doom spot where Momo's getting superplexed. Julia's doing the superplexing. Tam is back suplexing Julia as it's happening, and then like Natsupoi and Azumi are on Tam's leg, so it was like a triple decker Tower of Doom spot, and then they end up pinning Azumi's up pinning Mina, and they end up getting the win. So like the high speeders end up getting the cash prize. So after they end up losing the cash prize, Tam and Julia are upset with each other, so they begin slapping each other again, and they basically go to the back.
I thought for a wacky match, it was fitting for Azumi to win with the wacky roll up at the end.
Oh yeah, her
wacky high speed roll up.
It's like a Lamahi Stroll. It's some version of Lamahi Stroll. Kratos, not Lamahi Stroll, but whatever. I know what you mean. Yeah, that's her signature flash pin. But yeah, really fun match. I mean, that's pretty much the card. Like we mentioned, the 2 matches that started off were the semifinals to the Cinderella tournament. So yeah, overall a very strong show. I don't think it's as good as their other pay-per-views this year, but it was still a borderline great show. So they figured out how to do this on a consistent basis, it seems.
That is very good. So, the other show of the weekend, hold on one second before we get into it, I have to hit the music for NXT. Poppy.
Okay, gotcha. The problem. It's like, wait, what is this you're playing? Yeah, she's like, how every other musical act is like in WWE is like specifically like Flo Rida, Pitbull. Those people are going to the WWE Celebrity Wing of the Hall of Fame. Not Poppy. Poppy is going into the NXT Hall of Fame specifically. She don't want no parts of the main roster. She only wants to show up to hang out with Io Shirai. I think it's adorable. Yeah, man. NXT TakeOver in Your House 2021 is quite possibly the worst TakeOver ever. And I mean that, and I don't mean just like since 2000, or since Nakamura showed up. I mean like possibly ever. Damn. That is now whether or not that means this was a good pay-per-view or not. This is an average or this is a above average pay-per-view, but the standard is TakeOver, and for the standard in the curve we're grading on, this was a disappointment. All ways, shapes, and forms. 5-match card. The opener is very good. The main event, I gave 4 1/4. Everything else, the middle.
The bottom, like the middle, the bottom, like all points in between. Like, I saw this show. I'm not going to overreact to it because I didn't overreact to their great show in February, really. I feel like the worst TakeOver ever. I don't know, because like In Your House last year was really bad, and also the SummerSlam one was really bad as well. So there's like 3 shows in the last 12 months that kind of have this same stink about them.
But there was never like a one where it was like, okay, 3 straight matches in a row that like can't crack 3 1/4.
Yeah, man. I don't know what happened. I know that some people's point of contention here is no titles changed hands. Their champions, they switched their belts recently, so there weren't really going to be any title changes here.
But look, those people. But and we were talking to Josh Smith about this specifically when he said like there were no title changes on TakeOver. That sucks. And like, I think you can do a pay-per-view when you don't have any title changes. Not often, but I think you can do it. The problem with them is they know they have this. They have the dates. They know when their shows are coming up. If
but
you know
act
when
like they don't remember.
And this is shit we begin on on the main roster for. Like, you know when your date's coming up. You know when some shit's important is coming up. Don't act surprised and act like you didn't plan for this shit, like you didn't know it was coming. Good booking is knowing when shit's coming up ahead and having something special planned for it. So, if you want to change all your titles within the last 2 months, that's it. So then you feel like you want to keep all your champions strong, so therefore you can't change any titles. This is your fucking fault if you don't have any title changes on there. If your person needs title change or 1 or 2 on the show for you to care, that's your thing. I don't have that problem. But my point is, it's a problem when you change every fucking title within a 2-month span of each other. That's not good.
We are in a new era with the men's and women's singles titles also.
Yeah. Like, we went from the excellence
is handcuffed to each other.
We went from the excellence over the years of Neville and Sami Zayn and Samoa Joe and Nakamura and even someone like a Bobby Roode that can hold it in the road, to Drew McIntyre, to Andrade, to Aleister Black, to Tommaso Ciampa, to Johnny Gargano, to Adam Cole, and to Keith Lee. On the women's side, you have Charlotte, you have Sasha, you have Bayley, you have Asuka, you have Ember, you have Shayna, who was able to hold in the road. You had Kyrie, you had Rhea, and you had Io. The drop off from those collective champions to Karrion Kross and Raquel Gonzalez. I don't hate the idea that they made them champions. I do have an issue with the idea is, let's make them both champions at the same time in the same era, and then they have to have matches on the same card.
And then, like, they both looking like luggage, because we don't get to it. We might as well go from the top down. NXT title match, Karrion Kross defends against Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Kyle O'Reilly, and Pete Dunne.
Wait, are you missing 3 other people by any chance, or is that was just 5, right? It was just 5, right?
It was just those 5. Okay. You know, I know there was more people they could have added in. I mean, why not? At this point, they could have just fed them all to Kross.
Yeah, treat the ring like a clown car.
Yeah, you know, have them all get in the ring, do all the moves, and then Kross gets in and 1 by 1 just kills all of them. Like, why stop at 4? Yeah. You know, Karrion Kross is an expensive piece of luggage. Shawn Michaels used to cut promos about guys like this in the 90s, of course, when he was on drugs. So, like, I think Kross is, like, completely whack and lame. This isn't to say that he's good enough to have the proper timing to be in the right place. He's not a awful wrestler or anything. He's just someone that is clearly not on the level, like, of the standard. They've surrounded him with everything imaginable, like, to try to get him there. They decided he was a star from day one rather than tell you. So it just tells you about their markdom for size, and that company still, you know, no matter what they do to try to lose that, it's always going to be there. I think the match layout was embarrassingly see-through and transparent. That's the same thing. But every time he would basically murder all 4 of them. Someone would roll out. There would be 3 people hanging around the ring. And then 1 by 1, they get in, get their ass beat. All of a sudden, something would happen. He would be outside sleeping. And the action, I'm shocked they didn't just kept, you know, I'm shocked they didn't just keep the focus on him, like how they kept the focus on Cody in that ladder match when he had to, like, walk away for a second.
Oh my
I'm shocked
God.
they didn't do that, but it seemed like it was inevitable anyway, because they were just fucking around, you know, doing their moves or whatever with each other. Like, no one's trying to beat each other in the middle of it. There's no big pinfalls of them trying to do everything else. Everything just always comes back to Kross. Like, Kross gets in, murders them again, and it's just like they're treating him like he's Brock Lesnar. He's not Brock Lesnar. He has no charisma of that sort. This dude's an entrance, a body. This is warrior-like almost, like, in, you know, in comparison to
the era,
the era and the
relative to the talent around it. I get what you mean.
Yes.
Like, obviously, he's a way better wrestler than Ultimate Warrior, but the point is, compared to everybody else that's around him, he may as well be Warrior compared to Hulk Hogan. I get what you mean. Yeah.
Right.
Or Savage, or Bulldog, or some shit like that. Yeah, I get what you mean.
And I saw this, and I was like, this is who they're strapping it to. Like, what are they doing? Where is Hit Row? What ended up happening was what I predicted in the preview show. Was like, well, Cross is going to beat all these guys and clear out the main event scene, but it's like, who the fuck do you have now? Like, who are you bringing in? Where's your good guys? Let me check the rest of the card. Oh no, it was all bad guys winning. Okay, cool. And then and then they've got titles on the other titles on babyface, so there's like, they got to find another babyface out of somewhere. But there's oddly it feels like it's like SmackDown, kind of like there's no one like Cross is the guy. Like, he's not here to like create somebody. Like, these people are circling around this guy, this luggage, this piece of luggage that is going to get carried throughout all these takeovers. And I gotta say, I'm not excited about it. And man, a far departure from like, from
4 and 3/4 star matches,
every
4 and
other
a half, 4 and 3/4 star main event matches. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay,
like,
so
and the guy they choose to beat is the freshest like main event guy of them all. James, what is Kyle O'Reilly's record in NXT title matches now? This is his third loss.
0-3. Man,
0-3. This, who knew Kyle O'Reilly would get on the Eddie Kingston program this fast? Like, they suck at making baby faces. They suck at keeping people hot. Adam Cole's the most popular guy. They want him to be a heel. They changed his music. That shit blows. Sounds like menu music. We'll get to LA Knights, but the music choices.
Here's the crazy part about it, right? That's Adam
just
Cole
sounds royalty free.
Adam Cole was the second most over person in that match, right? And the second person was Gargano. It's like, what the like, it's like, okay, all right. Okay,
like,
sure.
I don't think people are going to take the Kyle O'Reilly like that. Like, that's just me. But
why should they? After this, why should they? Like, you have a title match with a heel champion going into a fatal 5-way against four opponents, 3 of which are heels, and the person you choose to beat is the babyface. Why? Beat Gargano. What the fuck are you doing?
I don't understand. Like, is the intention for Kyle O'Reilly to come back from this lowly state? Like, I don't know, but
and you know what they're going to say, right? The story, they're going to say the story is
he would have won.
He would have won, and he would have beat Adam Cole for the belt, but Cross came behind and snuck him.
But like, even if he would beat Cole, he wouldn't have beat the champion. So he would still have been a paper champion.
But my point is this: that's not a good story. Not all stories are good stories. Like, yes, I see what you're going for. However, that's not compelling.
Yeah.
So for me,
every other part of this match besides the transparent Karrion Kross's match, it was like, I was like, okay, I like what they're doing, but I feel like I've seen it.
The match in a vacuum is a great match. It's not in a vacuum, bro. There's context to this. Like, you had 3 challengers that you could have picked from. You threw Adam Cole into this and had him, and then had 4 guys basically effectively carry a guy that is actually competent. And like, we just saw him with Finn Balor have this same level of match in a singles match. So why the fuck do you need to spend this amount of energy and this amount of resources to deploy towards one guy when he could have had the same match, that same level match with any of those 4 guys? And then you could have boosted up and thrown some of the shit that was on this card off of it to do so. I don't understand. Like, couldn't have done a Johnny Gargano and Pete Dunne match. Couldn't have done another Adam Cole and O'Reilly match, and then had and had somebody else do this. It makes no sense. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, so You think about it. He beat Balor. He beat Balor in a rematch. He beat every basically realistic challenger he could possibly have in the main event. I guess that means you got to make a new person, but it's like there's nobody in the horizon that will fit into that role unless you're just going to sacrifice Hit Road as quick, which will be dumber than what stuff we just discussed.
like all time, like shut the brand down, dumb. Like that would be like.
Seriously, who's he going to wrestle?
Luckily, they're heels.
Who's he going to wrestle at the SummerSlam Takeover?
Luckily, they're heels, so we may avoid that situation. But
no, but who is Cross going to wrestle at the SummerSlam Takeover? Pick somebody, anybody, Rich.
At this point, they might as well go title for title.
Oh my God. With Bronson Reed?
At this fucking point, yes.
Oh my God. You know how bad that match would be? Or not bad. You know how mid that match would be? That's staring 3.25 in the face.
Man. Women's title match.
Yeah, women's title match. Raquel versus Ember. Before the match started, I had made a joke saying that Ember has to drop. Given that there were two matches that were just mid at the beginning, three star flat matches at the beginning. I said, like, to get this thing out of the pit status in, Ember needs to go out there and score 40. She needs to go out here and tie her working shoes up tight. She needs to drop 40 tonight in ode to Andre 3000. She scored 25. Respectable. She scored 25. Maybe you can argue she scored 30, but she needed 45. Why
didn't you keep shooting like one of those?
You could have made the argument she scored 30, but instead of 40, she really needed 45. Yeah. This was not the best match they've ever had. They've had a better match. I was expecting to get a match as good as the one they had before, or better, given that was a TV match. But can't be asking for pay-per-view matches to be as good TV matches, apparently.
Yeah, man.
It's hard to ask.
This was sometimes the commentary ain't see. Maybe it's from me not being a regular viewer, and I caught that one promo Raquel did. I was confused if they were turning her face.
No,
you told me apparently they weren't. Commentary is I'm not seeing that with the knowledge. Like in this, as I'm watching, I don't know this, so like I'm hearing them talk about how valiant Raquel is and how improved she is, and basically just they're building her up like she's this hero, and then Dakota Kai is doing all the cheating. Shotzi Blackheart comes out, runs her off. It just never got there. Like I don't know, man. That this belt is real different when it's not strapped to Io like that, and this is only the beginning. But
yeah, and the thing is, like, all right, so what's next? They have to pull somebody out from scratch to whoever is going to be the next challengers or whatever else, right? So like, there was no Io on the TV show. Obviously, they're going to do one of those eventually for a rematch, for a TV rating, or for a next takeover. Who knows? Toni Storm wasn't on here. Zoe Stark wasn't on here. Saray wasn't on here.
They've got like 25 women signed.
Yeah, that are all good. That are all very good wrestlers or whatever else they could choose and deploy and have made champion, and they've been on TV, but have not been elevated or protected in the way that like Raquel was for a year. Therefore, like it makes sense that Raquel's champion, but it's like it makes sense based off of how she was pushed. But then it's like, all right, how about that in application? It's a totally different thing.
I'm dreading the Raquel Gonzalez Shotzi Blackheart match. Someone may die.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for them to honestly just rip the Band-Aid and just go ahead and do their Dakota turns on Raquel thing. Or vice versa. One of them turns on the other, and then they have their match. Then Raquel gets put in, Dakota gets put in dirt.
I think that might be their best option. They may have to go to that sooner than later and figure something out. $1 million title ladder match. Whoa. Eli Drake is coming out to GTA menu music.
San Andreas?
Yes. That is some of the most swaggerless G-Funk I've ever heard. This shit is like 1,000 times worse than Matt Riddle's theme song. 1,000 times worse. And Riddle's is not that bad. Knowing what it takes to kind of make some of that stuff. Riddle's isn't that bad. But this shit, oh my God. I thought this match stunk. I thought Cameron Grimes tried his best, but LA Knight just ain't got it for me. And I would have liked to see Cameron Grimes win. And I know it's a heel gimmick and, the $1 Million Champion and shit like that. But, like, it seems like people fought with Cameron Grimes. Like, you had DiBiase and him, and that was where the magic was.
Right.
Why are you trying to insert this fucking third guy? Like, he's, like, I don't care that he sounds like the White Rock. Like, I don't care. Like, once you get past that, it's like, the bell's gonna ring, dog. Like, and he didn't necessarily like I don't want to. It's weird because I thought they had a smart, kind of even safe ladder match
until they didn't.
It was like
until they didn't.
Yeah. But then like a smart match isn't necessarily like a good match either. So, I didn't like the choice for the winner here. This went on forever. It felt like I was begging for them to wrap it up about 5 minutes before they did. And, I would have just put Cameron Grimes over and had him stone on the $1 Million Man. You're trying to make new people, aren't you?
Right. A 3-star flat ladder match.
I don't even know if I would have gave it that, but that's...
I like the way it was built. I like the way it was structured and built. So maybe I'm being generous because I like the way it was built. Like they teased stuff, they took it off the table, and then eventually they gave you a lot of the stuff they teased, and even went beyond that. It's really, really hard to have a match like that. That's one of those matches where like it should be an automatic lot to get 3.5. That should be the floor. I was gonna say ceiling. That should be the floor for a ladder match. And nah, man, like,
do you think they're gonna treat this like a real belt, or is it gonna still be an outlaw title?
Like, do you mean he's gonna defend it, or is it gonna be like the FTW belt? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Nah, it's gonna be an excuse to have DiBiase around him. I think that's what it's going to be. But either way, it's still six championships on a 2-hour show. Man, like, I like Eli Drake. I think he's useful at a certain level. I don't think this win puts him at a level higher than he can swim. I think this match just was not good coaching. This was not putting your players in this position to succeed. And they paid for it. Like, I'm not mad at LA Knight for not being able to succeed in the match that, like, you shouldn't expect him to succeed in. Like, why would you put Eli Drake in an NXT ladder match, given what NXT ladder matches have been over the last half decade? What were you expecting?
This is what reminds me of putting Bo Dallas in a ladder match. Like,
but at least that was still when it was still like, oh yeah, like this is mostly developmental. This isn't before, like, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, the kings of ladder matches, are in the fucking ladder matches or whatever else, or some of the stuff we've seen from Ricochet and Adam Cole trying to kill themselves to have an awesome match. Like, the stakes is different. Like, you compare this match to a ladder match, which I thought, like, given the level of two wrestlers, was kind of disappointing. That ladder match for the cruiserweight title between Devlin and Santos a couple months ago. That match smokes it. I thought that match was disappointing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why? You didn't need to do this just because it's a title. I get it, but like, you could just put the fucker in a case and say whoever wins gets open the case and win. Like, and they would have. They had a ladder match stipulation to a match that I think if it was a singles match, it would be the same level of match. Which means, who's getting worked? You sent two dudes out there to take these crazy fucking bumps when they could have had regular bumps added to their bump card at the same level of match. You know what I mean? Who are the marks?
Like, I was gonna say, like Ice Cube used to ask, "Who's the Mac? Who's the Mark?"
Like, seriously, like what did this do for Eli Drake, or I keep calling him Drake, for LA Knight or Grimes doing this crazy ass match.
Grimes, who is like peeking his head into like almost being over, right? Like who has a chance possibly to like maybe you can elevate him, but you know it's a ladder match. He didn't get pinned or anything, so I don't know, man. But to me, the cool gimmick would have been him with the $1 million title now turn the tables on the $1 million man, because I thought. Wasn't the $1 million man just getting the best of him constantly or whatever, like over these vignettes and everything?
Right.
Like
and the
this
whole
is
thing,
this is a layup, James.
And this is the thing, right? Before LA Knight came out 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whenever it was, he finally had to sit down with DiBiase, and DiBiase was saying, "Hey kid, I actually like you. I'm just showing you that the shit, like this ball of life is cutthroat, and I can possibly show you the ropes." And then once he was like, you could possibly become my my kohai to my senpai, then LA Knight comes down and says, nah, I want that too. And then like D-Bow was like, oh, there's another person that's on some rich shit that kind of wants to be like me. Huh. How about we had you guys fight to the death and ladder match over it? That's what happened. So that's what happened. Like, so for me, like, LA Knight with DiBiase promo wise, fine. LA Knight with Grimes with DiBiase promo wise, fine. And maybe they'll get to that eventually over time anyway in a rematch down the line where he actually he doesn't turn on him. He actually genuinely liked them or whatever else, and he actually is quote unquote really rich like DiBiase is. So they'll actually have a real bond. And he becomes his manager / valet over time on the babyface side. Great. And I understand that like. If Babyface wins right there, that's the only exit you have. You don't have more room to this. I don't have an issue with LA Knight being that guy. Just don't put the match in a ladder match. Just don't do it. It didn't serve anybody any good. You could have done the same exact thing, been just as effective, and not like almost kill LA Knight or fuck up his elbow or whatever else, like whatever they did on the spine of the ladder during the match. There was no need for that. And the match wasn't no better for a ladder match. So, the opener now, right?
Ladder match was square in the middle of the women's title match we just reviewed, and this next match here. My God.
What's the next match?
Xia Li versus Mercedes Martinez.
A TV match. Not a good one.
Like, featuring the long, staring crowd, wondering, like,
why is this
what's going on?
Watching this? Why is this in front of us? I thought this was Takeover.
Yes. The droning silence where it feels like everybody wants to be polite. Like, no one got over here at all. Xia Li beats Mercedes. Mercedes beats the shit out of Xia Li and her manager, and then she comes out here and goes face to face with the 10,000-year-old Dragon Lady. The Dragon Lady displays no type of charisma at all, no movement. She's moving worse than Sting in Survivor Series 2014 when he was circling or whatever. Like, she came out here and put Mercedes in a tongue and death grip, and immediately I was like, she thinks she's Ming, and she throws Mercedes, and Mercedes goes flying, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I thought this was pure shit.
So do me a favor. Do you know, I watch NXT. I've watched every episode of NXT since the summer of 2018, right? Since August 2018. I've watched every episode since, right? Clearly, either Tian Sha or Mei Ying is the name for the faction, and the other is the name for the actual Dragon Lady. Which is which? Do you know?
I have no idea, James. I was just going to ask. I'm like, this is the first time I've ever heard of the Mei Ying name. Like, who is that? Like, is that another person that's yet to debut? Is this like a part of the lore?
And I'm not trying to. No. I understand you getting your jokes off or whatever else, and I am too. But I'm not trying to be obtuse about this. I do not know which is which. Obviously, one is a faction name, and the other is the Dragon Lady's name. I don't know which is which. I watch this show every single week. I've seen her every appearance she's made, and this faction is made on TV. I do not know this. I should be able to know this. I pay attention to this stuff.
I just saw this and I was just mystified at this, and I was like, what happened to the no BS? Like, where is it, Mr. Game? You know, is this match a display? Like, or is your cat call to the rest of the women in the world that, hey, come wrestle here. You can have this. You can get thrown by a 10,000-year-old dragon lady. Oh my God, this is horrible. Like, this is substandard conditions. Like T.I. was talking about.
So, I had a thought about. I guess it's now the time to talk about it before we finish, because we're going to finish and with like good talks about that the opener. But during the press or the media availability going that Triple H always does before every takeover, like it's normally the Wednesdays before the takeover. Triple H let out was I don't know, was on one, was trolling. I don't know. I haven't listened to it. I stopped listening to these once NXT after Portland. That's when I was like, I ain't no reason to be listening to these, because they have actually no. I would say once the one got blown up for WrestleMania were because of the pandemic, and then like there was no one that time, I basically like left off. And by that point in time, One Final Heartbeat, I was like, oh, y'all have lost the plot of what this show is, so I don't need to like hear this right now. But Triple H had these quotes to come off, and he said something along the lines of, Rich, can you pull these up and if correct me, whatever. If I don't want to miss.
Merch.
I don't want to like say something that's not exactly what he said, or mischaracterize his quotes. That's what I was going for, mischaracterized. So he more or less said something on the lines of, the best women in the world want to work in WWE. Or no, we have the best women's wrestling in the world, and the best women's wrestlers want to.
If they aren't, they want to be in WWE.
All right, that's cool. So start from the top. Give the whole entire quote since you have it.
Okay. So, all right. So I found the quote here. So it really came on the heels of Mickie James. It was a question spinoff. Mickie James is starting a she pitched an all women's brand to WWE, but obviously was told that's not going to happen. The NWA made that happen, and they're going to be hosting an all women's pay per view in August. They asked Triple H if something, has been discussed like that in WWE, or would they allow WWE or NXT people appear on that show. Triple H goes, haven't we already done them? It's a funny thing to me. Equality is equality. Equality is not, I want my own show. Equality is not, we have to make our own program. If I told you I was making an all men's program and didn't want women on it, it would be criticized. More true than he thinks. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I think it's funny when people go, I want the best in the world regardless of contractual status. From a business standpoint, why do we have contractual status? It doesn't make any sense. If you want to wrestle the best women in the world, come to WWE. That's where they are. If you want to go elsewhere and say that they are there, that's an opinion, and you can. I'm all for it. And one of the biggest drivers of it, will we do another all women's event down the line? Possibly, but it's not a must-have at the moment. I do think we do an amazing job of displaying our female athletes. Is it perfect? No. Will it always be in flux? Yes, but we do a pretty good job. In my opinion, the best female wrestlers are in the world are in WWE, and if they are not, they want to be.
Now, you just explained. We just did the whole Mei Ying thing with Zaya and Mercedes and whatever Karen Q's name is, and how much of a mess it is. Rich, do you think Tam Nakano is going for that kind of storytelling? No. I'm getting this off right now, goddammit. Tam Nakano mentored Kamatani in her own idol wrestling group, brought her into Stardom, brought her into Stars at the time, did a storyline where Utami takes her from Tam, and it helps build her up by putting her in all them tag teams and faction matches with Queen's Quest, the best faction of wrestlers in the company, to then come back to build over was that from February 2020 up to now, that Cinderella win where they're gonna have a match at on pay-per-view on July 4th. They built that over 18 months. That is Tam's like third best storyline that I've seen her in, or fourth. So you mean to tell me that Tam Nakano will want to go to fucking WWE, take a pay cut and then move to the other fucking hemisphere to work for WWE? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Man, Triple H said all this knowing this was about to be on his card 2 days later. Like, you talk about like just completely all the frustration that he's dealing with for possibly being, you know, the power dynamics in the company not being what they once were, where he's not the not the golden boy anymore. He's not the pretty much the automatic successor when Nick Khan's running around pulling in billions of dollars left and right and bringing his own team in there. And Triple H is looking around like, man, these surroundings looking a little different. And NXT not hitting the way it's been. And he knows this because like it's this show was forwarding. Like you didn't have to be a genius to be able to look at this show and be like, I don't think that's going to go the right way. So, and this isn't some like surprise. So like Triple H said this stuff and it was, it came back to bite him rather quickly. Britt Baker jumped on it. Thunder Rosa jumped on it.
Thunder Rosa was going to be a ref apparently for NXT.
They offered her, to be a ref. Like
Britt Baker, who they only brought in ever to be a enhancement talent for like years.
Yeah, like
obviously we don't know that Britt Baker's going to get this much better in the ring, but still, they could have known that she was like charismatic.
Yeah, like I don't think those two women have any interest wrestling in WWE at this point. So, man. Yeah, that Dragon Lady shit was a get the fuck out of here moment. Poor Mercedes Martinez.
Dude. Poor Xia. Poor everybody. Like, this shit stinks.
Look, the crowd was cheering for Xia Li during the match because everyone was so happy. Basically, she's come up in front of their eyes, right? And then
on the Largo Loop and the Coconut Loop or whatever you want to call it in Florida.
But you like turn her heel and she's doing this stereotypical gimmick and it's just like, man, this shit is whack, dog.
And
like
I don't still say spicy from her last gimmick.
Like where does I get the extensions? Like they hooked them up, apparently,
I'm not even getting into the hair. I'm not even whatever.
Did she holler at, I think it was Jeremy said maybe Lance Archer gave her the connect,
I thought you were about to say Hannah. Oh, okay. All right. Or Rina Yamashita. Okay. Fine.
Man.
Thank you for leaving that alone. Yeah, man. Okay, so
this started the descent of the show. This was like those three matches in the middle were just like, what the fuck? Like everything that I said was wrong with Cross happened in the main event, and I forgot in the main event there was a big picture of like their names in the background as they were wrestling. Cross is in the middle, like 20 times bigger than anyone else's. I was like, that's a perfect fucking metaphor for because this shit is about carrying fucking Cross the whole time. These other dudes are geeks, losers, lames that are just in the ring surrounding this man, like carrying Cross surrounded by idiots. Who knew? But yeah, man.
Yeah, it's just like you go out here and say that you have the best women's wrestling or the best women's division or whatever else, and like in America, I'm sure you can't say that based off the talent. But then like once you put that out on Takeover, knowing what you're about to put out on Takeover, maybe you're going into it. Maybe don't say that kind of stupid shit. Just thought. Like whatever. The opener. A trios match, winner take all, North American in NXT tag team title match. you had the baby faces and champions Bronson Reed and MSK versus Legado del Fantasma. This is a fun ass match. I really like MSK. I really like Legado. As far as the tag team in Legado, they're a really good tag team, and them and MSK have obviously great chemistry. This is like the third or fourth time they've had like this level of match or better. I don't know if and when you have to eventually pull the trigger on Legado, or if you got to tell them to go hit the bricks and go wrestle Thatcher and Ciampa and come back in like 6 months or whatever else. But that solid foundation is getting this tag team division off the ground after it was just in the mud for like all of basically from the time they pulled up like the summer 2019. But yeah, really good match. I think that they use Santos as a shit stirrer very well. I think that Bronson Reed plays off him very well. I don't know how long of a shelf life Bronson Reed has as a champion. Like he seems like somebody that's going to get got quickly, probably by Hit Row, and Swerve. But I do like the fact that he's a champion, because he is over with the crowd. He is different from the established champions we've had in that division at times. And like it hasn't been like he's shit the bed at any point. Like all his matches have been good. Have they been like the Gargano, Adam Cole, Ricochet level good? No, or Roddy Strong level good? No, but it's still good enough. And it's still the second best match on the fucking card. Like proof is look, Bronson Reed is the last of our problems. So I don't have any problem with Bronson Reed. I thought this was actually pretty good. Lots of creative stuff in here from DJZ or what's his name now? Joaquin Wild. Joaquin Wild or Joaquin Wild. Sorry, Joaquin Wild. He did a lot of creative stuff that I liked. I thought Nash looked better than I've seen. I think the thing with Nash is like you're comparing him to who he's tagging with, and then like you're grading on that curve as opposed to like and just a normal standard of like what a normal tag team partner is. He's good. Like compared to Wesley, he's not good, but like in a vacuum, he is good. But yeah, like I think I'm glad that you're seeing that like. Of initial reactions, like he is better than what he looks like if you watch it one time. Yeah, and yeah, like I said, Bronson, I thought was he anchored the match in a lot of ways, and he has great athleticism for his size, and he's something that they need. Like they need like some babyface hope somewhere, because like Hit Row's coming down the pike and. Legato's not going anywhere. It looks like, and Karrion Kross, like he's just gonna like run this shit until he decides otherwise. So have fun with that, y'all. So between AEW having all heel champions and NXT, having all but out of their six champions now, I think only 2 of them are baby faces. What is it with these companies wanting to have heel champions all the goddamn time? Well, I think it's different when you have a heel champion that's like really beloved. These aren't the same. No, I'm not saying these are the same. I'm just saying like one of the issues with NXT once they went to TV was like Roddy becomes the NXT champion, like all undisputed are champions plus Shayna. And then you look at AEW and it's like, oh, they have all heel champions. Like, I don't know why a booker would ever do that. Regardless of how good you get into it or out of it, regardless, why would you ever have every single champion be heels? I don't get it. It's just weird to me. Yeah. But I think the only way it works is like when the heels are like, damn, they're so over that they're beloved. Like, Britt Baker and Karrion Kross are not the same. Like, like Kitty and Karrion Kross obviously not the same. Who are the tag team champions in NXT? They're baby faces. They're actual baby faces. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So like if fucking
I think even if Legado like were babyfaces or heels as champions, you wouldn't necessarily have that that black cloud of them being just heels. Like people like them. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Like maybe it's like, hey, we're gonna go back on the road soon and try to get these, people chased. So that's the only thing I can think of. But
that makes sense for AEW. It don't make sense for like NXT when they were doing this shit a year ago or 2 years ago. It's like, why? Like, you have one you're going to be in the same place every single week, and then you do 5 shows a year somewhere else. Like, there's no reason to do that other than just to like annoy people. But yeah, I just this was for a takeover. This was a 5-match card. I think 4 of the matches. I think 2 of the matches, one match was great, one match was really good, and then the rest was somewhere between like 3 flat and like 3 and 2.5. So, I
feel like if they have the takeover identity to live up to, that may cripple them in certain situations, because they feel like they have to have this 5-match card no matter what those 5 matches are. Like, I think they need to consider like breaking from the format. Like, if you don't have that deep 5-match card, like give us shorten up the matches, throw like a 8-match card together that are shorter matches, and try something different. Like if you ain't got it.
But Rich, they do have it. They just didn't deploy it. Like there's no need to have Hit Row off this show, Finn Balor off this show, Roddy off the show to carry off this fake retirement thing that he's doing for a storyline. Not have Tommaso and Thatcher on here. Not have Io Shirai, Tony Storm, Saray. You know what I'm saying? Like a third of your best wrestlers were not, or most of the wrestlers were not on the card, and then this is what you put out. Maybe never do that again. Like, this wasn't some situation where it's like, well, they ain't got it. Yes, they got it. They just didn't deploy it for some weird fucking reason. Like, the only thing I can think of is they're saving it for SummerSlam, or for SummerSlam, because they're not doing SummerSlam in Vegas, or their SummerSlam Takeover in Vegas. They're doing it in Orlando. So, but it's like, I don't know if they're doing an arena. I'm not even sure. I have no idea what they're doing.
SummerSlam, they are going to be in Orlando still.
So they're going to do Full Sail or PC again.
Yep.
So then there's no, so like there's not even like they're saving it to draw a crowd. Like there's no point of what they did. They're just experimenting. It's like, hey man, experiment on TV. Don't experiment on like one of your 5 biggest shows of the year. And then like another part is like annoying is they advertise Great American Bash, which is like Great American Bash more times than not is gonna what? Kick this pay-per-view's ass. It's like, if it's pay-per-view, why are your TV betting on pay-per-views? Why? What are you doing?
Yeah. They're probably gonna load that up too, and that's like what, like 3 weeks from now. So they'll load that show up.
Yeah, watch. And that's gonna be frustrating. It's like, let me get this right. You had 2 months to build towards a show that you cared about. This is what you put out. You got 3 weeks to build towards something. And in 3 weeks you came up with something better than you had in 2 months. What?
New shit.
Yeah. Incredibly, and these I'm telling you, bro. First 6 months of this year, a good show. The last 3 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever it was, I don't know what the fuck happened. I say last 3 weeks. I don't know what happened. Shit just got goofy. Anyway, anything else we need to hit before we get out of here? Am I forgetting something?
Nah, that's really it. AEW had a much better show this week than they did the week before. Nothing really like newsworthy, I'd say. I did like the Evil Uno and Miro match a lot. And I think the day someone from the Dark Order wins back the TNT title is going to be a big, big thing. Because, like, I honestly think that should be, like, the group's mission at this point. Eventually, we need to win back the TNT title for Brody. And that gives them, like, every TNT champion is going to have to fight off the Dark Order, essentially. Like, Miro has fought, like, a couple people. Darby has, like, fought him, and I think that's just like a cool little thing that if they don't talk about it, but they always are consistently challenging, I think will be like pretty cool.
Okay. What is going on with the Young Bucks and I guess Kenny? Anything happened in the last 2 weeks? I know there was a match.
Kenny and Jungle Boy.
When is that?
Yeah, Kenny and Jungle Boy is going to be on the 26th on a Saturday night. It's going to be 8 o'clock on Saturday. So how nice of them to get a better time slot, somewhat. They did a promo in the ring with Kenny and Jungle Boy. Kenny called himself the promo god, the best promo in wrestling. Clearly hilarious, but somebody pointed this out on Twitter that I think it's like if you're looking for an extra layer of storytelling, right? The way he insulted Orange Cassidy by calling him a comedy wrestler. He's now in here insulting Jungle Boy, basically saying you can't cut a promo or whatever. Like, these are all criticisms that Kenny Omega is like faced, and he's like doing this stuff to these baby faces that people have done to him. So like in his dissent, these people are taking note of these things. So I did not catch his match with Moose yet. I heard it was riddled with interference at the end. But yeah. So as far as the Bucks, they were in a 6-man with
Cutler,
Kingston.
right?
Yeah, Cutler. They team with Cutler against Kingston, Pac, and Penta. And basically this whole thing was like, Cutler, you better not fuck this up. And then at the end, Cutler fucked it up. So so like for him losing, he ended up having to do 500 squats on BTE, like a young boy punishment. So
was it okay? So was it actually 500 squats, or was it like when they started doing the counting during the Stadium Stampede for Matt Jackson doing all of the Northern Light suplexes from the 50-yard line from the goal line to goal line?
So check this out. Like, he started, I think they cut away and they came back and he was like soaking, like pouring sweat or whatever. So it was like he had done like 500 or whatever, but you didn't see him or nothing.
Okay, that's funny.
So, but yeah, besides that, like, it was a good main event, good heavyweight action. Tan and Hangman took on, Tan and Hangman took on Hobbs and Cage. Ricky Starks actually smacked Brian Cage this week, and Brian Cage walked to the back to fend him off. And, Hobbs was left 2-on-1, fought him off as much as he could, and eventually, he got caught by a couple finishing moves, and that was it for him. But the destruction of Team Taz is underway.
Okay. Didn't Christian Cage have a match?
Yes. He had a match with Angelico, and it was just like, it's not no blow-away number. You're like, oh, that was really nice. That was really good. Like, and then, Matt Hardy dropped him again after the match.
Oh, God.
Matt Hardy and Christian, like the feud, I don't know if anybody necessarily wants it, but it keeps being like, like just funny shit happens. So
okay. All right. I'm gonna catch up on Dynamite this week. No Stardom until the weekend. I'm gonna catch up on Dynamite. I got 2 shows to watch. It's a lot easier than having to catch up on, I think it was 3 or 4 for NXT over the last weekend. So I'll catch up.
Yeah, man. But yeah, besides that might be it.
Okay. So that's in the show, y'all. Thanks for listening. Be sure to go.
We need to mobilize the One Nation Radio listenership, because I ain't trying to go outside like this, like in this voting, so we need to go ahead and call on the Nation Knights, the Nation, the Nation Maniacs.
The Nation wasn't good enough, had to be the Nation Knights.
The Nation Knights.
Okay. Is this like the Canaanites?
We know y'all rock with us. We know y'all been here. We need y'all to go ahead and click this link, the Social Suplex /vote, and check out the cards that were drafted by everybody in the Social Suplex Podcast Network. I think the votes are going to close this weekend coming up. So your boys, One Nation Radio, counting on y'all to go ahead and make this thing a photo finish and push your boys over the top.
All right, there you have it. Also, be sure to go to our Red Circle and drop us off with a donation. Another thing, go to www.
Vote for us and give us money.
Yeah.
Make it like politics, you know.
Yeah. Also another part. Get the merch. ProWrestlingTees.com/Social Suplex and pick up some official Social Suplex Podcast Network merchandise. Olds on Top. Olds on Top is becoming a thing. Like Chris Paul is 36. He scored 37 last night on 70% shooting. Olds are achieving in the world on a constant basis. This is one of the best ideas we ever came up with from Olds on Top for merch. Check that out. Also check out the other shows on the network, like this one, One Nation Radio. You have Keepin It Strong Style, Grown Watches Shit, the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Podcast, who's actually on hiatus. So we'll see how that goes, but hopefully they'll come back and hopefully you guys listen. The Grave Consequences Podcast, 8-Bit Suplex, All Things Elite, and the Great Match Generator. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.